Alright, so YouTube, this is just a quick little update on one of my Hamburg PA 2014 Reptile show pickups. You've seen him very briefly in the unpacking video. Didn't have him out a whole lot because my camera battery died. Oh, there he goes. Where you going? But this is my Woma python. You can see he's pretty calm. I've had him out for a little bit while handling. This was like my second handling day since I've brought him home, and he puts out a really big fuss when you go in a cage, a lot of hissing and ducking his head down. He just really wants to be left alone, but once he's out, he's a little nervous for a little bit, and then he calms right down, and you can see he's just... And as you can see, I was able to put my hand right underneath him, and if you've seen my video, you would have noticed that, well, he freaked out when I did that when I unpacked him. So, you can see he's already pretty big. I haven't measured him, but comparing him to my corn snake, he's probably about 2 feet, I'm guessing. So, and he's already pretty thick around. This is about the length of my corn. So, I don't know how old he is. He's not a fresh hatchling, but he's no more than a year old. So, well started, well fed. We've had one meal already, though he hasn't pooped yet. But I'm feeding him smaller than what he was getting meals right now, just until the first couple of meals that I know he's eating okay and digesting okay, and then he'll be back up to what the breeder was feeding him, which was small adult mice. He will be feeding on 2 hoppers, though, instead. As you can see, he is perfectly calm right now, and he doesn't really care right now. But just absolutely pretty. Very inquisitive little guys. Not squirmy at all. I don't know if you're going to be able to see the underbelly there. My camera doesn't like to focus, but the underbelly is this like orangey yellow rust color. Normally rust colored ventrals like that is sign of scale rot, and is really bad. You don't want a snake with a rust colored belly. However, this particular species just naturally has that coloration, and it does come up into his sides a little bit, which is really cool. And depending on what you put him on, he's got this nice dark stripe there down his back. Rust color coming up on the lower sides, and then just kind of brown striping there. See, he's got the cute little face. Oops. He's just all over the place. He's like, ooh, what's over here? Where are you going? Look at that face. Seriously. Yellow heads and like dark masks around their eyeballs. It's so adorable. I love it. And he's a python. He's gonna get up there. This species is more of a medium-sized snake rather than a large snake. So if you're thinking he's gonna grow up to be something the size of a blood python or a Burmese python, you're wrong. Size-wise, you're looking at, he's not going to get as heavy-bodied as a ball python, but he's going to get about the size of a ball python. Probably have a little bit more length on him than a ball python. It all depends. He is a male, so he will stay a little bit on the smaller side for the species. Aw, he just licked my finger. How cute is that? So adorable. And I do not have a name for this guy yet, so if anybody has any suggestions, please shoot them out there. So far, ideas on the table are Furion, which was provided by my friend that came along with and dropped him in his container. So he does not like said friend very well. Not yet, anyway. We're working on that. And Zircon, or Zircon is how I would probably pronounce it. Which is just the shortened form of zirconium, the gemstone, which is actually grows a lot in the desert and parts of Australia. and this species is native to Australia. I'm also on the table, another idea is Spector. Probably going to try and look for something else like that. But he is calming right now, which is really good. So now I just got to get him to the point where, you know, my hand coming in the cage doesn't freak him out so much. So I get him out with a snake hook right now. I won't lie, I'm afraid of being bit. I've never been bit by a snake, not yet. I've been bit by both of my geckos, but I would like to try and keep any future snake bites down to the very minimum. Though if I'm going to get bitten by a python or a boa, which some of you watching may be familiar with the kind of teeth that pythons and boas have on them. I mean, their teeth are really long and just look like Freddy Krueger's nails, and that they could just shred you. And if they chew on you or twist you when they're biting, I'm sure would shred you pretty good. However, these guys' teeth, they don't have those really long classical boa teeth from what I've seen from photos of their teeth. Their teeth are more like a corn snake or a colubrids, in that they have a lot of short, really sharp, rounded teeth. So if I'm gonna get bit by a boa or a python, I'd so totally rather it be one of these guys. But they're generally known for being very docile and putting on threat displays that have, you know, no real threat in the end of them. So kind of like a hognose, they've been known to puff up and hiss and look all big, mean, and scary and headbutt you with a closed mouth and everything, but not really ever bite you unless you seriously piss them off or you smell like food. You don't want to smell like food around a Woma python. They love to eat. Though this particular guy does not have a really strong Woma feeding response that I was expecting. I've basically heard that these guys, the moment they smell a mouse or a rat in the room, they will, you know, they will fly out of their cage after it. I actually had to tease feed this guy his first meal. Finally convinced him that it was food and it smelled like food, and he came, he grabbed it, and he slithered around his feeding tub with this mouse in a single coil. And I had to walk away. He still didn't eat it, still crawling around holding this thing. Had to come back and jiggle it around more to get him to eat it. And then before he'd even eat it, he was actually just kind of pressing his nose against it before he finally decided to eat this thing. So he seems to be a pretty gentle feeder, and that reaction kind of just makes me think that he's never seen live prey, which is a good thing. I honestly think it makes the snakes a little bit more mellow no matter the species, because they don't develop the feeding strike response in relation to motion. Their feeding strike response is in relation to scent. So as long as you make sure your mice smell like mice, and you keep your hands clean, that you don't smell like mice, or lizard, by the way, or anything else that they may eat in the wild, you know, you're probably not gonna ever get bit unless you're tormenting the thing or something. But I mean, keep in mind, every snake has its own different personality and everything like that. So, I mean, you've really got to know your animal before you do anything. Because this guy has shown that threat display a lot, even though he's calm now, it's going to be quite a few more handling sessions before I'm going to let him, you know, crawl around my neck or crawl through my hair like I do my corn snake. Just got to get to know him better, and we need to learn to trust each other better before he's going to get that. So, I mean, for the time being, whenever I have him out, I'm making sure that I'm holding him without a striking range of myself and anybody else in the room. I did have one of his siblings, when I was holding him at the Reptile show, actually looking at me, and it was ready to strike, did a 360 real quick and went after my friend's nose. So, I mean, gotta be definitely... I'm glad I was experienced. Otherwise, I could have ended very badly for me and all the people crowding in around looking over my shoulder and whatnot. I mean, I was really about ready to tell some people to back up because they were putting themselves in danger being so close to a snake that was obviously pissed off. But you can see he's really calm. This is actually the typical for the species. They tend to be really docile. But they can also have they can also be really feisty and have, you know, little attitudes on them, and sometimes curl up into strike position and be all teed off for no reason, seemingly no reason at all. So with any animal, it has teeth, it can bite. Do use caution. But yeah, this is him. It's a boy.